This one actually, it's straight up a Doctor Who quote that I thought sounded like it should turn into a song. So the Doctor has many times said, everyone's a story in the end, make yours a good one, right? And I thought that was a lovely little sentiment. So this is called Stories. Oh, we are. So we are now. It's that ghost. It's going to trouble now. Soothsayers, dragon slayers, troubadours and mimes, allegories, metaphors, comments on the times, Darth Vader, Luke and Leia, Hamlet and Macbeth, unexpected journeys filled with laughter, tears and death, with heroes and with villains singing songs of love and war. Are there new tales to tell anymore? When a memory's forgotten, that is where we find our stories. Everyone's a story in the end. Everyone's a story in the end. Is yours a tragedy with suffering and hurt? Or are you in the thriller with dramatic twists and turns? Is it an epic like the sagas of the past? Do you play the lead or are you supporting cast? Are you the exposition or are you the light relief? Do you play the Joker or the thief? When a memory's forgotten, that is where we find our stories. Everyone's a story in the end. Everyone's a story in the end. Ours is being written now, so let's make it good. See you in Hollywood. When a memory's forgotten, that is where we find our stories. Everyone's a story in the end. When a memory's forgotten, that is where we find our stories. Everyone's a story in the end. Everyone's a story in the end. Here's a story. Here's a story. It's a true story. See, I didn't just throw this together. Actually, I did actually, but yeah, it's just a true story. I found out about this a few years ago at the McManus Gallery in Dundee. So it's basically a city museum with the history of Dundee and local artworks and so on. And in there I saw a pigeon stuffed and mounted next to a medal for bravery. Turns out this pigeon is called Winkie. What happened with Winkie? Back during the Second World War, the Bristol bombers had carrier pigeons. So in case there was a problem, they would send the carrier pigeon home and the pigeon would get help. And that sounds utterly ludicrous, but that's what happened. Winkie the pigeon saved the day, and I'm going to tell you the story of Winkie now. This is called Fly Home Winkie. Europe was at war. Soldiers and airmen fighting for the cause. They set off for Norway from an airfield in Fife, in the name of freedom, prepared to give their life. The mission was accomplished, but as they turned around, enemy fire took the Bristol bomber down. Drifting in the sea, couldn't broadcast their position. Their one remaining hope was their carrier pigeon. So fly home, Winkie, fly back to Dundee. We've got 2 wings and a prayer, so it's time to set you free. Fly 100 miles across the freezing northern seas. Fly home, Winkie, fly. On dry land, exhausted and drained, Winkie met the RAF and started to explain how to find the wreckage and then treated them to save a team of wartime heroes from a watery grave. How was she flying? How fast was the wind? Calculate her speed from the oil on her wings, knowing when the plane ditched, assembling the clues. Maybe that would be enough to find the stricken crew. So fly home, Winkie, fly back to Dundee. We've got 2 wings and a prayer, so it's time to set you free. Fly 100 miles across the freezing northern seas. Fly home, Winkie, fly. In only 15 minutes, their whereabouts was known. Thanks to Winkie's bravery, the airmen made it home. Rewarded for her courage, like all the bravest birds, she wore the Dickin medal for animals who serve. So fly home, Winkie, fly back to Dundee. We've got 2 wings and a prayer, so it's time to set you free. Fly 100 miles across the freezing northern seas. Fly home, Winkie, fly. Fly home, Winkie, fly. Absolutely true. My favourite thing about this story is they tried to attach the location to the pigeon's leg, but it didn't. The pigeon flew off straight away, which quite honestly doesn't sound very brave to me. However, I'll get thrown out of my local establishments in Dundee if I say that there. But my favourite thing is the sheer nerdery of calculating where the plane must be based on the wind speed and how oily the pigeon's wings must be, and getting it right. That's so cool.